Joining me is Alan Moran, head of the Regulation Economics, which looks at the economics of global warming schemes. Alan Moran, great to see you again. Tell me, how green is the electric car?
Well, I mean, there are some people who suggest, though, as you mentioned there, over its lifetime, it does emit fewer amounts of carbon dioxide than the internal combustion engine. A lot depends on the assumptions you put in place there, and it's more line ball in Australia's case, where 70% of our electricity is coal-based, and the estimates actually also infer that there will be no further improvements in the regular automobile engines. It certainly isn't a way of saving the world from the emissions, if these emissions are indeed causing the sorts of damage that the chap from Tuvalu has suggested. And in terms of the possibilities of using these sorts of electric power, or is more advanced, a ludicrous suggestion, hydrogen power with trucks is just absolutely impossible. Indeed, there's already been a $34 billion scam from a truck called Nikola Motors, which was to be hydrogen electric powered, and it was a total fraud, but cost a lot of people a lot of money. There are suggestions, of course, that the electric car itself has been increasing quite substantially. A lot of it is, as you said, due to the subsidies, but there are some basic advantages and things that people value from electric cars. It probably has got quite a good future. It's about 4% of the world new car market at the present time. I mean, some people like the fact it's very good acceleration. It's quiet, and of course, they virtue signal with the car as well. And a lot of people in urban areas value virtue signaling. We're seeing a whole sort of new subsidies, and you mentioned the ones we got already in Australia, and the Build Back Better program in the US has increased the subsidies. They're much higher than Australian subsidies, about $15,000 a car. And indeed, Build Back Better has a provision where the subsidy is much higher for those cars which are built in America with the union labor. So much for saving the whole world. There's a lot of other factors involved in there. As you said,
if you're offering thousands of dollars, if you're taking money from people in taxes and then giving it back in terms of subsidies, they'll buy it, of course, if it's subsidised. And I've got nothing against the electric car. So you want an electric car, you go and buy one. But don't tell me that they're going to save the planet, and don't be into me for a share of my taxes in order for you to indulge your luxury purchase. I just don't get it. This is the distortion of the market. Now, but what, Alan, I said, and we both agree that they make a marginal difference anyway to emissions, given that our power system is predominantly coal. Now, we're told, well, OK, we'll make the electricity system green, powered by green energy. We'll get rid of coal. How? I don't know, but let's assume. Will electric cars then make a big difference in Australia in cutting emissions?
Well, they won't make an enormous difference. I mean, I don't think, to give it credit, the government doesn't actually say it will make a big difference. It's part of its plan. It's going to throw another $250 million in its future fuels strategy with this rollout of charging stations, etc. And I think, as you pointed out before, the horse and cart wasn't overtaken by by automobiles, which were subsidised. Indeed, they weren't subsidised at all. If there is a need for these things, they will grow without the subsidies. And in fact, the government has got involved in a whole lot of chicanery here. Is saying part of the subsidy is there as a job creation program. Well, it's 2,600 new jobs, it says. Net jobs, which is a total lie. The government hasn't got any money to create net jobs. It takes money from people. Every dollar taken from somebody is a dollar spent by itself. And there's, at best, a neutral effect on employment. There is no additional jobs. And the only thing is, some of the government ministers claim to have been to university and studied economics, and yet they must know that that's a lie and continue with the fabrication.